What is up, everybody? This your boy Vlad, coming with a quick video. So the overall markets today, it is, I believe, trending downwards. Last time I checked, well, bouncing. As you can see, the Dow is down 1.32%. Nasdaq is down 0.47, and the S&P 500 is down 0.88%. So overall, and if you look at the overall market with the big companies, in technology, service, basic material, it's pretty much a red day. But we do have a bounce on the way. So seeing if it could bounce, this is the opening or previous day close, I should say. Um, it may bounce off of it and just continue down, or it could break past it. So we don't know yet. So with that being said, whenever I'm trading, 3 out of 4 stocks typically follow the overall market, as you can see here. So when I'm trading, and especially if it's a stock that is moving upwards, I'm a little bit more cautious, and I tend to take profits a little bit more. Prime example of earnings winner, BTG. BTG, normal circumstances, I would probably hold this to the close of the market. But since the overall market is not doing so well, I'd rather just take safe profits, even though if it wasn't that much. At the end of the day, it all will add up. So, this video lesson or title is why you should be buying earnings winner. Reason being is when a stock have earnings or positive earnings, you tend to have a lot of different investors to come in. You would have sometimes institutional investors, you would have hedge funds, you would have day traders, momentum traders. You would have all these traders coming into the stock. So that's creating more volume. So the demand is there. So especially if the stock has low float, the stock could really rip to, from 3 all the way up to 10 in a matter of minutes. In the case of BTG, the float for it, and I knew this was going to be really choppy because of the float. The float is close to about a billion, 988 million. And not to mention, the market cap for this is 3.8 billion. So this is massive. So the likelihood of this stock, from the get-go to double or triple, because it's easier to take a stock that is that have a market cap of 10 or 20 million and making it either 20 if the 10 million if it had 10 million, and if it had 10 million, it's easier for it to jump to 20 million by doubling it, or the same thing for 20 million to make it 40 million. But trying to turn a company that's already valued at 3 billion and you try to get it to 6 billion, that's a lot. So that was another thing that I kept in mind when I was purchasing this. So just to do a quick recap of my trade, I did pick this up on my scanner, and I had it on my watch list. And I saw as soon as the market came open, it had these rip up candles, and I was not, finna chase it because I don't know where it's gonna be the top, and et cetera, et cetera. So I was not gonna chase it. So one thing that I did though, I waited till it had its pullback. And one thing that I like to use too for pullbacks is the VWAMP. So if you don't know what the VWAMP, it's an indicator if you have a charting. I mean, the chart that I'm using is Thinkorswim. I've been using them for years, so I think I'm a little biased towards them. So that's who I always use. But the VWAMP is just the indicator that you could just input in your, in your charting software, and it will draw a line just to let you know where, pretty much where the bulk of the buying is at, where most people are buying. So I saw that it hit the VWAMP right here, and I didn't purchase it yet. I wanted to see the first green candle. So immediately after that, it cracked down some more. Then it made a green candle. So this was like my indicator to buy. So I actually didn't buy it until this candle right here. So I bought it at like 387. And my risk level that I was going to risk it off of is, of course, the VWAMP. Because if it cracked the VWAMP, I know typically it's an indicator that it is bearish. I mean, not all the time, but on the first pullback, that's the indicator that I was going off of. The second thing that I also did as well, looking at the 5-minute chart as well, that was a big help, just to see how this stock was looking. So the 5-minute, had the first big up candle, then the first pullback on the 5 minutes. So then, just looking at that, just putting those two charts together, the 1 minute and the 5 minutes, was able to make the decision, okay, I need to go ahead and purchase this. So I did. And the stock, it bounced, had this bounce. And I kept seeing that it was struggling in the fours. So, first it ripped through the four barely, then pulled back. So I knew 4 would be considered resistance. So it bounced, hit the 4 one time. Well, I would count this actually the second time. Tested the second time, couldn't do nothing. Tested the third time, couldn't do nothing. So I'm like, okay. Once I saw that it started drifting backwards, I'm like, all right. So I do need to get out, because it tested it once, twice, 3 times. It did get over a little bit, but it retreated back. So I knew that the trend would, for the short term amount of time, would be reversing. And since then, it's been bouncing, can't get off. Now it's trading right around the VWAP. So I put in stock tweet that I didn't like the price action. So that's what I mean by price action. Price action went up, bounce, which is good. Then it went back and tested. Still was okay. Tested again right here. Still was okay. But once it did this again, it's like no. Then I seen a red candle. I'm like, okay. It tested it roughly about 4 times, and it still couldn't do nothing. It's time for me to get out. So got out. Got a roughly a $90 profit. Not too big, but I'll take it. At the end of the day, it all gonna add up. So yeah, I mean overall, I still think this is a pretty good pattern, pretty good chart. It's breaking out. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna hold tight, maybe towards around 3 p.m. Revisit this stock to see, because if it could get past 4s, I think it may have some potential upside to maybe like 420, 430. So I'm just going to keep this still on the watch list. This morning, another earnings winner. was OMI. This one too had a high, really high float. The reason why I didn't trade this one is because of all this right here. It's pretty much, I mean, the overall trend of the stock has been on a decline. So typically with stocks like these, the first pop, it is met with like a lot of resistance. Oh, this thing keep popping up. All right, there you go. With a lot of resistance. So even though this was earnings, I mean, you had the morning push, and I was actually about to put in an order here, right around here, this candle right here, but I didn't because I thought the BTG was more safe. I mean, had it been the only play in the market, I probably would have tried to take a small piece, because I know due to all these resistance, look at all these volume bars. But I didn't. I mean, overall, if you would have caught it in the morning, like I was about to do, uh, it would have been a good play. But for that, you would have to been, in and out as well too. Market is down, so now DCGD. This stock here, it's been going. It's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And one thing I noticed about it too today that I didn't notice in the past, it's exhibiting the same pattern. So tomorrow, I'm gonna have this on my watch list today, and I'm actually gonna try to trade this tomorrow. And just looking at the pattern that it's doing, I think it started on, roughly on this day. Because as soon as the market opened, you have a sell off. It found support, then bounce. Go to the next day. Next day, crash, then bounce. Crash, then bounce. And that's why you keep seeing these wicks here. It's every morning it's crashing. There you go right here, crash, bounce. So I'm gonna look at it tomorrow, see what it do. Now if it spikes, then yeah, pattern is pattern is broken. But I'm looking tomorrow just to see for a spike. I mean, not spike, but a panic. Then on the panic, and one thing I like about level OTCs, the level 2 action, you could literally see when the stock is about to turn. I'm gonna try to see if I can catch a footage of it tomorrow. If it does if it do the same pattern, and try to record it, so that way you guys can see like live once the turn is about to happen. But yeah, but pretty much, guys, that is it. AVGR finally did its first bounce. So it's having a green day today. So this may be another potential for me today to hold overnight and sell in the morning. But yeah, this is Vlad signing off. Hope you guys have a wonderful trading day. Peace.